Good morning, everyone. Welcome back for today's classes. I hope yesterday's topic you have studied well. So today I am continuing the chapter and today's topic is the types of chemical reactions. In this topic, we will study about the various types of chemical reactions such as combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reactions, and oxidation reduction or redox reactions. First of all, we are going to study about combination reactions. As the word combination says, combination means combine. So in combination reactions, one or two substances or one or two reactants combine together to form a single product. For example, when carbon burns in air, that is oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide. We see carbon and oxygen, two different elements, combined together to form a single compound that is carbon dioxide. Yesterday we saw one reaction, that is magnesium ribbon burns in oxygen or air to form magnesium oxide. Here also we can see two substances, two elements combined together to form a single product that is magnesium oxide. Such reactions where two or more reactants combine together to form the single product are known as combination reaction. And the reactants may be two elements, two compounds, or an element and a compound combined together to form a single product. Consider another reaction, quicklime, that is calcium oxide, which is a white powder, is taken in a beaker and slowly add water. We see a vigorous reaction, a very fast reaction take place here along with a hissing sound. The product formed here is calcium hydroxide or slaked lime. When we touch the beaker here, we can see that the beaker becomes warm. So it is a vigorous reaction and releases heat also. Along with it, it releases large amount of heat. And this is an example for combination reaction where two compounds react together to form a single product. This is also an example for combination reaction. At the same time, since heat is released here, we can say it is an example for exothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction means a reaction in which heat is evolved or heat is produced. Such a reaction is known as exothermic reaction. So whenever something burns to produce heat energy, the reaction is said to be exothermic reaction. The reaction that takes place in our body, that is respiration, breaking down of glucose to release energy, that is also an example for exothermic reaction. So, combination reaction means two or more substances, maybe elements or compounds, combined together to form a single product. The type of reaction is known as combination reaction. Moving to the next type. Second type of reactions, that is decomposition reaction. Decomposition means splitting or breaking. So here, decomposition reactions means when a single compound, single substance breaks or decomposes to form two or more products. That type of reactions are said to be decomposition reactions. Generally, decomposition reactions need energy to undertake this reaction. So, such reactions, decomposition reactions generally need energy. They absorb energy to complete such type of reactions. So they are generally said to be endothermic reactions. Usually, this type of reactions utilize energy either in the form of heat, electricity, or light. They absorb energy in the form of heat, electricity, or light. So, they are generally endothermic reactions where energy is absorbed. If the reaction, decomposition reaction, take place by absorbing heat energy, such type of decomposition reactions are said to be thermal decomposition reactions. Thermal decomposition reactions, where energy is absorbed in the form of heat. For example, if we take ferrous sulfate, which are green crystals, FeSO4, ferrous sulfate dot 7H2O, which are green crystals. If we take these crystals in a test tube and slightly heat, first step we can see that the color of green crystals changes into a dirty white color and due to the evaporation of this water molecule. And the substance is now ferrous sulfate, anhydrous ferrous sulfate. On prolonged heating, FeSO4, on heating, it decomposes. By absorbing heat energy, this substance, ferrous sulfate, decomposes into three products that are Fe2O3, SO2, and SO3. We can see that initially the color was green and now the color has changed into a reddish brown due to ferric oxide. That is, a reddish brown residue is left in the test tube. And at the same time, from the test tube, we can observe a burning smell of sulfur that is due to the release of the gases sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. So here what happens, the single compound on absorbing heat energy splits into three products. So this is an example for decomposition reaction by absorbing heat energy. Consider another reaction. Where white colored lead nitrate which is white in color is taken in a test tube and heated. We observe that the white color of the substance changes and a residue of yellow color appears in the test tube and certain brown colored fumes releases from the test tube. We can see that on heating lead nitrate, some brown fumes comes from the test tube along with the release of the colorless, odorless gas, oxygen. And that brown fumes is due to the release of the substance of gas, that is nitrogen dioxide. So again what happened here is lead nitrate, which is a single substance, on absorbing heat energy splits into three products: lead oxide, nitrogen dioxide, and oxygen. So this is also an example for decomposition that is called as thermal decomposition reaction, where decomposition taking place by absorbing heat energy. Now, if the decomposition reaction taking place by utilizing electricity, that is known as electrochemical decomposition. The best example for electrochemical decomposition is electrolysis of water. Electrolysis of water means splitting of water into hydrogen and oxygen on passing electricity through it. For that, we can see an activity, that is, in a beaker, 3/4 water is taken and two electrodes are immersed there. Two graphite electrodes are connected to the positive and negative terminal of a battery. And few drops of sulfuric acid, 1 drop or 2 drops of sulfuric acid is added into this water to make the water the best conductor of electricity. Two test tubes filled with water are taken and kept invertedly on each electrode, the positive electrode and the negative electrode. When electricity passes through this water, when the key switch on, when the electricity passes through the water, we can see some bubbles appear near the electrodes, which causes the downward displacement of water in the test tube. Some bubbles are appearing near the electrodes, which causes the downward displacement of water. And the water collected near the electrode can be tested. Carefully remove the test tubes and bring a burning candle near the mouth of the test tube. We can see that at cathode, the gas collected is hydrogen, and at anode, the gas collected is oxygen. We can identify it by bringing a burning candle near the mouth of the test tube. If the gas burns with a pop sound and extinguish, that gas is hydrogen, because hydrogen burns with a pop-up sound. Whereas the gas collected at anode continuously burns, which shows the presence of oxygen. So what happened here is H2O, water, splits into H2 and O2 on passing electricity. So this is an example for decomposition reaction where single compound breaks into two substances on absorbing electric energy. So such type of reactions are called as electrochemical decomposition. Moving to the next type of decomposition, that is photochemical decomposition. Photochemical decomposition, single compound or single substance breaks into two or more substances by absorbing light energy. For example, silver chloride, AgCl, which is a white powder, when exposed to sunlight, if it is exposed to sunlight, on passing sunlight, we can see it breaks into two substances. The color of the silver chloride, which is white, converts into gray color due to the conversion of silver plus release of chlorine gas. So, such type of reaction are known as photochemical reaction. The same way, silver bromide also breaks into silver and bromine on exposure to sunlight, where single substance breaks into two or more substances on absorbing light energy. So such type of reactions are known as photochemical reactions. Now, moving to the next type. So decomposition reactions can be taking place by absorbing either heat energy, light energy, or electricity. Now, the next type of reaction, that is displacement reactions. In displacement reactions, one element displaced by another element from its salt solution or in its molten state. Usually, A high reactive metal displaces a low reactive metal from its salt solution, are commonly known as displacement reactions. Consider this example, copper sulfate. The color of copper sulfate is blue. Blue colored copper sulfate solution is taken in a test tube, and if we add few iron nails if you add in it, after some time we can see that the blue color of the solution changes into pale green color. This happens because iron is more reactive than copper. So from the solution of copper sulfate, aqueous solution of copper sulfate, iron displaces copper and the product formed is FeSO4, ferrous sulfate, which is pale green in color. That is pale green in color. And also we can see on the iron nails some brownish substances are sticking on it, that is copper, that is displaced from the solution. So here a highly reactive metal displaces a low reactive metal from its salt solution. So this is an example for displacement reaction. Now if into this FeSO4, which is pale green in color, if you add zinc granules, again we can see the reaction is taking place. We can see some observations as we discussed earlier. Some observations we can see which help us to identify that there is chemical reaction has taken place. The observation here is the green colored solution, FeSO4 green colored solution, now become a colorless solution. That is because zinc is more reactive than Fe, so zinc displaces Fe from the solution and the substance formed is zinc sulfate, that is colorless. And also iron get deposited. So here we can see highly reactive metal displaces low reactive metal from its salt solution. Such type of reactions are known as displacement reactions. Now the next type. The next type of reactions are double displacement reaction. Double displacement reactions. In this type of reaction, what happens is the reactants, the ions present in the reactants, cations and ions, we know an ionic compound is formed by the union of a cation and an anion. So the cations and anions of the reactants get exchanged each other to form the new substances or the new products that are known as double displacement reaction. Yesterday we have seen one example, that is reaction of lead nitrate solution, aqueous solution of lead nitrate with potassium iodide. In that reaction, lead nitrate PbNO3 twice, it's an aqueous solution of lead nitrate combines with potassium iodide. Now what happened during this reaction is the ions present in this substance, that is Pb, cations and anions that are getting exchanged, Pb plus NO3 minus, K plus I minus. Here the cation of one substance combines with anion of another substance. Here again, the cation of the second substance combines with the anion of the first substance. That is, the exchange of ions takes place. And due to the exchange of these ions, cations and anions, new substances are produced. Pb combines with I, and the product formed is PbI2, which we have seen as yellow precipitate, PbI2, and potassium combines with nitrate to form KNO3. Lead iodide and potassium nitrate are the product formed here because of the exchange of ions between the reactants. Such reactions are said to be double displacement reaction. Consider another equation. Sodium sulfate Na2SO4 combines with barium chloride PaCl2. Sodium sulfate and barium chloride aqueous solutions are mixed together. Aqueous solutions are mixed together. Again here the rearrangement of cations and anions, exchange of cations and anions take place, and as a result the substance produced here due to the reaction, a white colored precipitate insoluble substance, that is barium sulfate BaSO4, and sodium combines with chlorine to form NaCl. BaSO4 and sodium chloride are the products formed here. Again we can see here BaSO4, that is a white colored insoluble substance which produced due to this reaction, and such products formed are known as precipitate, and this type of reactions are also called as precipitation reactions, where when two substances react together an insoluble product is formed. Such reactions are also called precipitation reactions. But remember, all the double displacement reactions are not precipitation reactions. Precipitation reaction means only when an insoluble substance is formed, then only it is said to be a precipitation reaction. Now, moving to the next type, that is oxidation reduction reactions. Oxidation reduction reaction. Oxidation reaction means, here in this class we are going to deal this heading only by gaining and losing of hydrogen or oxygen. Only in this terms, only in this except only we are going to discuss this topic. Oxidation means when any substance gain oxygen or lose hydrogen, it is said to be oxidation reaction. And at the same time, reduction reaction means if any substance lose oxygen or gain hydrogen, that are said to be reduction. Usually such reactions, whenever one substance give away oxygen, there will be another substance in the reaction which receive that oxygen. So generally such type of reactions are simultaneous. So such reactions where oxidation and reduction take place together are said to be oxidation reduction reactions or redox reactions, where oxidation and reduction takes place together. For example, suppose if we take copper powder, brown colored copper powder in a china dish and heat it, it combines with oxygen to form this brown colored copper. Now changes, there is a coating of black color forms over that, that is due to the formation of copper oxide, CuO, copper 2 oxide. Now on this copper oxide, if we pass hydrogen over the black colored copper oxide, if we pass heated copper oxide, over heated copper oxide, if you pass hydrogen, we can see that the reverse reaction take place and the product formed are copper and hydrogen. Copper and water. So copper oxide, on passing heated copper oxide hydrogen, we get Cu plus H2O. Now in this reaction, copper oxide became copper. That means copper oxide lost its oxygen. That means copper oxide is reduced to copper. Copper oxide is reduced. So copper oxide reduced to copper, here reduction happens. At the same time, H2 became H2O, that means along with hydrogen, oxygen is added. So this is oxidation. Oxidation. So CuO reduced it to Cu, whereas H2 is oxidized into H2O. The substance that help in oxidation is known as oxidizing agent, and the substance that help in reduction is known as reducing agent. So here copper oxide is reduced. So copper oxide helped hydrogen to become oxidized, and now we can say that copper oxide is oxidizing. Copper oxide is an oxidizing agent. It is an oxidizing agent. At the same time, H2 received the oxygen, so H2 is a reducing agent. So, such reactions where oxidation and reduction take place together are known as redox reactions. It is known as redox reactions. Now, another example for this oxidation reduction reaction, that is zinc oxide plus carbon gives zinc plus carbon monoxide. In this reaction, when we consider zinc oxide is reduced to zinc, so here it is reduction, and at the same time carbon, when oxygen is added to carbon, so carbon is oxidized. This is oxidation. So here reduction and oxidation taking place together, so such type of reactions are known as redox reactions. Now, these are the various types of chemical reactions that we have studied. Now we are looking for some practical effect of certain oxidation reduction reactions which causes very harm for us also. That is, we know when iron particles are left open for a long time, it reacts with moisture, oxygen that are present in the air, and we say that the iron particles are rusted. That means the quality of the iron has lost. Some flaky substances are produced on the surface of the iron which get removed continuously, and the quality of the iron is reduced, which causes a lot of destruction to the construction activities. So that is termed as corrosion. So corrosion means when the metals are oxidized or acted with atmospheric gases, water vapor, oxygen, carbon dioxide, etc., and their quality is destroyed, that is known as corrosion. When corrosion of iron takes place, that is commonly called as rusting. Rusting is the corrosion that takes place for iron particles. And now what happens during rusting is, Fe reacts with oxygen and water vapor, moisture present in the air to form a flaky substance which we call as rust, a reddish colored flaky substance, Fe2O3 dot XH2O. Here the X meant for water of crystallization. According to the amount of moisture present, this X number can be changed, and this is known as hydrated ferric oxide. Hydrated ferric oxide, that is commonly called as a flaky substance or rust. Due to that, the quality of the iron get reduced. How it can be prevented? There are so many ways. Commonly the iron particles are painted or oiling or greasing is done to prevent the rusting. There are other elements also that are affected by corrosion, that is atmospheric gases. For example, silver articles. Silver articles, when exposed in the air for a long time, its surface become black. And that black color is due to silver reacts with hydrogen sulfide in the air to form silver sulfide. So due to that, the black color, the silver color changes into black. And also copper vessels, when exposed in the air for a long time, moist air, copper reacts with carbon dioxide, water vapor, oxygen, etc. And a green color substance produced on the surface of the copper vessels, that is CuCO3 dot, CuOH twice, that is known as basic copper carbonate. This basic copper carbonate is green in color. So, commonly corrosion of silver and copper vessels are known as tarnishing. Tarnishing of copper and silver, whereas for the corrosion of iron, the common word we use is rusting. So, this is a practical day-to-day impact that we are seeing because of the reactions. Now, there is another problem created due to this oxidation that is known as rancidity. When oily food items such as chips, etc., the food item which contains oil or fat, if you left open for a long time, for a few days, and after a few days when we consume it, when we use it, we can see that the smell and the taste of such substances are changed. This is because the oil or fat present in such food items get oxidized. Along with the oxygen present in the air, this fat or oil get oxidized and hence its taste and smell get changed. That means such food items are called as rancid. We say that such food items are become rancid and the process is known as rancidity. That is, rancidity is the oxidation of oil or fat present in the food items. Due to that, the taste and smell of the food is changed. The process is known as rancidity. We can prevent rancidity in many ways. The substances which are called as antioxidants are commonly used to prevent rancidity. And we commonly observe that the chips packets, when we purchase the chips packets that are flushed with a gas, commonly the gas used there is nitrogen gas, which prevent the oxidation. And refrigeration is also another method. Vacuum packing is also a method where rancidity can be prevented. So, this is about the chapter chemical reactions and equations.